Good evening and welcome to this absolutely stunning day. Look at it. Isn't she a pretty girl? This bike is essentially the bike that I bought for my buying a bike and going on a trip challenge, all for under £1,500. I've actually sold it. There is a lovely chap that I met at the ABR festival a few years ago. Now, when I bought this bike, it came with various different things. It had a USB socket, had a heated grips on it already, all sorts of stuff. The heated grips that were on the bike actually had grip puppies over the top of them. They were rubbish. They looked like they were from the 80s. They did work, but it would definitely be more beneficial and more impactful to dunk your hands in piss than use those things to try and warm them up, because obviously I was going to the Republic of Ireland, which is known for being cold and wet. I replaced those heated grips with something slightly better. These are the Ultimate Add-Ons heated grips. I will put a picture on screen here somewhere of what they are. I got these through Mad for Bikes for a very good deal. Like many people, I've tried a billion different heated grips. You have everything from the crap ones that were on this all the way up to the absolute volcanoes that they put on most BMW GSs nowadays. I've had Oxford heated grips before in varying different ways. I've had a set on my Monkey, I had a set on my Tracer, Emma's got a set on her bike, but I have realised that you kind of get what you pay for with everything in life. If you buy cheap, there's normally a reason they're cheap. The cheap ones tend to take 3 to 5 working days to heat up. When they are hot, they're not that hot. They would be okay for if you go out on a day like this, which is stunning, and you're out all day long. On the way home it drops below 10 degrees and you just need a little bit of caressing of heat on your hands to keep them from going numb. The more premium ones with the hidden buttons and all sorts of stuff are just that little bit better. They just get hotter quicker, they maintain the heat. That more premium level is exactly where these Ultimate Add-Ons grips compete with. Now, there are cheaper versions of both these grips and the Oxford ones, and insert other brand here. There are definitely cheaper versions. The cheaper versions normally have a dedicated separate controller. The thing I really like, especially on classic bikes, is an integrated controller, so you don't get a big ugly thing that you have to bolt on somewhere on your bike. People are going to judge me for this, but because I use my Ducati 916 year round, it would be quite nice to have some heated grips on it. When I'm using that thing in the colder months, sometimes my hands just get a little bit tingly. I'd rather be called a wimp by someone than have numb hands and not be able to pull the clutch in, or not be able to pull the brakes in when I need to. Now, hopefully you can see this, but that is your controller right there. So you have a button underneath and you have a little light above, which just gives you that indication as to what mode you're in. A nice tactile button. If anything, it's no easier or harder to get to than your indicators. And also it's on the left grip, which means that you don't have any issues with throttle inputs or anything like that whilst you ride along. You can still pull the clutch in and access the button. As I mentioned briefly, there are 5 settings on this: lowest, low, medium, high and highest, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. Pretty much you can work out which ones the hottest are. The thing that I like most about them is, especially when you take them from medium up to like really hot, they get hot really quickly. Ultimate Add-Ons have also released a set of these exact grips with a boost mode, which basically says as soon as you turn them on, they go to the hottest setting. I don't ever have any issues finding the button with thick gloves on at all. Something I found on previous iterations of heated grips that I've had on other bikes with that separate controller, pressing that button that you want to get to with thick gloves on, you may as well just spam it and hope for the best that it goes into the mode that you want. You want it when you're wearing thick winter gloves, which is where having a full sort of almost finger-sized button, you can kind of press anywhere and it still works. Now, the other thing that's quite nice about this is because this little light here is actually quite a decent size, when you turn it on, I mean, I'm going to sit right back here, we're not at night, and if I turn that on, you can see that is blue. You can see that button all the way from up here, and it is very clear what mode you're in. If there's any flickering, it's because that's LED and the camera frame rate makes it look like it's flickering. I think you can also hold and it turns itself off. Now, I got these through Mad for Bikes. They are £129.99 retail price. GBP. I'll put the conversions for dollars and euros on screen. If you buy them through Mad for Bikes, you can obviously use my 10% discount code, which is on the bottom of the screen right now. The more expensive versions with the boost, I think, are like $149. When you compare it to buying heated grips from a dealer, it's not a lot of money at all. I paid 200 and something pound for the heated grips on my Yamaha Tracer. I paid 200 and something pound, 230 pounds, I think, for the heated grips on my KTM Super Adventure. Some other brands have heated grips that start with a 3 or a 4. The cheap ones don't have the safety modes, they don't have the integrated button, they don't have as many heat settings, they don't get as hot as well. One other thing I will say about them, which I have noticed, which is quite nice, is that when you do turn them off, they retain heat really well. Heated seats on bikes do exactly the same thing, and I think it's because you're sitting on it. So the heated seat on my KTM Super Adventure, say I'm on a really, really long journey, I turn that seat on for half an hour to 45 minutes or whatever it is, I turn the heated seat off, it will maintain a form of heat for at least half an hour. I haven't ridden this bike with these grips in the depths of winter, so I couldn't tell you whether they would do the same in the depths of winter. If you watch the island trip, we rode home at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. It was bitterly cold. And then the only other thing I will say about them before I do stop talking, because it's heated grips and how long can you talk about heated grips? Apparently 35 minutes according to this camera. Wiring them in was a little bit more faffy because there's quite a big control unit that you just need to keep away from anything too hot. Can you see that massive bloody thing there? A little bit annoying to have to find a housing for that, but I think most of them have got that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Other than that, I mean, what more is there to say about heated grips? They get hot quickly, they maintain their heat, they're easy to use, nice big button. They've got a light that you can see when you're riding, which is useful so you know what setting you're in, and they're not 300 quid. If you do want to get yourself a set of these heated grips, there's a link in the description to them on the Mad for Bikes website. Discount code in the description and here on the screen somewhere for them, the 10% off through Mad for Bikes. I'm going to get this old beast started. So thank you very, very much for joining me, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye!